See you again.
So we're going to take you through some stuff. Obviously, feel free to... Sorry, we both just grabbed a little bit of granola bar. Might take a drink of water. Feel free to ask questions, take photos as we go along. We're going to talk about some stuff that's currently in the line. Obviously, we have these beautiful black boxes that have some presents under them, so we'll reveal those, and we'll just see where the conversation goes. So we're going to start at this end of the room on Black Series. So this little corner right here has some items that have already been released, but just want to touch on them quickly, especially the Darth Vader helmet. This is, I think, one of my favorite items that we've done. It is definitely the best helmet that we've done to date. If you're not familiar with it,
Until next year.
Until next year, exactly.
Next year. Yeah.
If you're not familiar with it, we can that granola bar was a bad idea.
Film that. Make sure you're filming that.
I know, right? Make sure we cut that out.
Hasbro marketing, guys, on the screen.
So, it's the first time we've gone up to that $99.99 price point, and you really kind of become Darth Vader. It comes apart into 4 pieces, decoed on the inside, magnetic assembly, so really kind of just took it to the next level. If we have time at the end, we can demo that. And then we've got a couple of our convention items here from San Diego Comic-Con. So our Han Solo with Minok. I just wanted to talk quickly about kind of how those influence mainline, and we bring the figures in, and Steve will talk more about that with our Afra item over there. But obviously, getting the Minok into the line was great, and that's how we kind of use exclusives at conventions, is to get those creatures or accessories out there and into the hands of fans that we might not be able to get in mainline. So those are those 2 items over there. This table, we're going to start with our premium roleplay items. So obviously, 6-inch figures, bread and butter of the line, we love those. But the premium roleplay is important as well, that cosplaying, kind of becoming those characters. So our Force Effects Riot Baton here, this is on shelves right now. As we talked probably like 2 years ago now, we realized we've got a lot of the lightsabers, but how can we bring more of the fantasy to life and bring more of that armory into the hands of fans? So we have our Force Effects Riot Baton, obviously from Episode 7, that Traitor Trooper, and then Finn uses it in Episode 8. It's got kind of all the same premium details of our Force Effects lightsaber line, real metal hilt, premium detailing, if I can do this right, the safety off. So it's got the flip to activate, mimicking that scissoring from the movie. Movie accurate lights and sounds. If you feel the handle, it's vibrating. So really that premium role play experience. I don't know if you want to demonstrate that.
Well, I won't, but I'll just put it away.
Put it away. There you go.
Put it away.
So that is on shelves right now. Buy that, become that Force Effects Riot Control Trooper.
Oh, not bad.
We'll try to work on it at the end. But obviously, Force Effects lightsabers are kind of the core of our premium roleplay line. So these have been around forever. As you know, in 2015, we refreshed the line with the addition of that accelerometer. So before that, you could kind of just hold the lightsaber and it would make the sounds. But for the first time then in 2015, it would react to your motions. We did all kind of the main ones, Luke, Darth Vader, etc. When we got to 2019, we were like, hey, 20th anniversary of the prequels, that is the right time to do Mace Windu, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So we revealed these at San Diego Comic-Con, but this is the first time that we're seeing them. So yeah, Steve will bring out the Mace Windu.
I'll be Mace.
I will try to not hit someone or something for the first time with the Darth Maul. There we go.
Purple blade at last.
Exactly. Double-bladed red lightsaber.
Are we doing that?
Yeah, we're okay.
Oh, we are.
There we go. So clearly we are better at making toys than martial arts.
Some may argue against that.
There we go. So we've got the Mace Windu purple blade, the Obi-Wan Kenobi blue blade, and then the Darth Maul. Obviously you buy 2 of them with the connector piece to form the whole thing. And these are actually, so these are not in stores until early 2019, but we're announcing there will be a pre-sale tomorrow starting at 1 p.m. on many major retailers. So if you've been dying for these lightsabers, you can get your order in tomorrow.
So the Darth Maul, you're gonna have to buy 2. It's not a dual blade.
Yeah. So basically, for it to fit into our packaging,
cut in half and more. Everything gets cut in half.
Yeah. To fit into our packaging in the assortment.
Does that mean the price is half as well?
No.
It's
all about going double.
Yeah.
Let me tell that one.
All right. Thank you. Great. So that's our Force Effects announcement of pre-sale tomorrow. Getting into 6-inch figures. So obviously these are the bread and butter of the line. You may have seen some of these already. So our back row here. Our back row here are figures that we announced either earlier this year during the Han Solo movie timing, or at Comic-Con. So figures from the Han Solo movie, the Imperial Patrol Trooper, L337, Rio Durant, and Val Mimban. Middle row here is classic characters. We talk about this a lot, about getting characters from new entertainment, but also this is the great thing about Black Series. It's only 5 years old, so we still have some of these main characters in their main outfits to get to. So you see Leia Hoth, Lando in his Skipguard outfit, and then obviously Dengar completing that bounty hunter line. These figures right here are from 2019. So Ezra and Chopper we announced at San Diego Comic-Con. These two figures right here are being seen for the first time in the US. Yeah, fine. We revealed Han Solo in his Mimban Trooper disguise, and if you put that helmet on, he's a great troop builder, at Mexico Unboxing Toy Convention, and then Dryden Voss at Canada Fan Expo. So this is something we've also talked about. Obviously, Star Wars is a global phenomenon. We have fans around the world, and so this year, for the first time, we've started going to those events, going down to Mexico, going to Canada. We announced at Canada, actually, that we would be in Europe later this month in London, Paris, Italy. So doing some reveals there, but... Oh, you usually jump in there. Yeah, just let me. But basically, you know, just one or two.
To be fair, yeah. So we're trying to spread the love a little bit more, and you know, we only reveal maybe a couple of things where we would normally reveal them all at like New York Comic Con or San Diego. So they are smaller reveals, but it's the idea of kind of testing the water and making sure that we're showing that we're trying to get a better presence in kind of more global conventions. So they're never as big as the ones we do here, but look at them as additive rather than replacing. Replacing? I made that word up.
There we
that
go.
doesn't even exist. Right.
We're revealing new grammar here.
Yeah. That's what the English do very well.
Exactly. So that is 6-inch mainline. At San Diego Comic-Con, we also announced a new line of archive figures. So this came out of talking with fans like you at Comic-Cons who were saying, you know, these figures are great. I absolutely want Dengar, for example. But I can't have Dengar without the Boba Fett, the IG-88, and the Bosk that you released 4 years ago and are selling for hundreds of dollars on the aftermarket. So that led to the insight of the archive line. And we really did debate about the best way to do that. You know, obviously, as you know, we landed on doing it in kind of its own line look, its own packaging. And we'll actually be discussing that packaging. We have a live stream on sci-fi.com tomorrow at 5 p.m. showing that packaging for the first time. We talked about should we just re-release them in the original packaging, but that's not then doing right by the fans who bought them the first time. So tricky balance, but we thought that was the right way to do it.
Yeah, if you spent $100
exactly
it down, then you deserve to have
that specialness,
that kudos. So
exactly,
this is I think the right way to do it.
Absolutely. So our first set of reveals for today, obviously that is our spring 19 line for archive. We have our fall of 19 line for archive right here. So as you know, the spring of 19 is the bounty hunters, having those all out at the same time, and then Luke Skywalker. But if you're going to have Luke Skywalker, you kind of need his training, his mentoring presence. So our first reveal for the archive, we're going to do this all day, for the archive line is Yoda. So we're really excited to get him back out there. Steve will talk kind of about the facial features, but obviously some of what goes into this, it's an art rather than a science. But it's a combination of, you know, talking with fans, reading the sites and seeing which figures people want. Also certainly, you know, looking at the aftermarket, which ones of these are going for the highest amounts, therefore there's the demand out there. And then obviously just which of these deserve to be in a greatest hits line. So
and Yoda kind of hits a sweet spot on all those. He's not the most expensive on the aftermarket, but he's certainly one of the most popular, and in my mind was due an update. I think the deco oh hi, he just joined the table. The deco needed an update, and Yoda with photoreal is phenomenal. I mean, he's got the large eyes, he's got the nooks and crannies that we need. So I'm very pleased to kind of update and improve our Yoda for the archive.
Great sculpt.
Yeah, those are great sculpts. We all know that sculpts are there, right? And so when the deco hits and it's not quite as good as it used to be, kind of
Unlocks
4 years ago.
Beauty.
So with photoreal, it really brings it out. I hope you all agree that kind of the photoreal stuff we're doing is kind of really bringing out the sculpts. You know, the layer at Bespin Escape. That's seeing everyone kind of commenting on that.
She's incredible.
Yeah, thank you. So so Yoda's going to be a really good contender for best photoreal application yet.
First photoreal application on an archive creature. So
on an archive
if you slice and dice it enough, there's always
if the
something
Oscars
exciting.
Can do it, so can we.
Exactly. And I think we're also, we're talking about what kind of, we can do in the future. So if you guys have thoughts of like what kind of the next opportunity areas in Black Series, definitely let us know. So that's Yoda. So now in the archive we've got Yoda, we've got Luke Skywalker. Well, going back a little further, we've got, I don't know who you just met, but hopefully it's Anakin Skywalker. I don't know.
Probably the most expensive one out there.
Absolutely. So Anakin, obviously, Skywalker sagas all starts with him. As Steve mentioned, kind of very high on the aftermarket, very popular figure, one of our few prequel figures from that era. Yeah. And also, I think the photoreal deco on the heads.
It's great, especially on his angry head, we call him. Yeah, we don't do too many extra heads anymore, but this one was great because has the expression, he has the Sith eyes, so the photoreal again kind of gives new life, new lease of life for this figure. So, and again, the ability to be able to get Anakin without having to pay exorbitant amounts. It's good. It's good. Kind of fledgling collectors that are coming into it can build a foundation, as Patrick says. So.
Cool.
Happy with him.
Our last one for Fall 19. So obviously these two were in our main line, $19.99 SRP assortment. But we've also released figures in other ways through convention exclusives or through different price points. And so we wanted to bring those out as well. So our final one, I won't ask anyone to guess who it is, but I will do this again, is going to be our Biker Scout Trooper. So that one obviously was out in 2013, 2014 with his speeder bike. And so maybe you didn't get a chance to get him then. Maybe the speeder bike price was prohibitive. So now we're bringing him without the speeder bike into the archive line in all of his glory. No photoreal deco on this one since he has a helmet.
There we are.
So that is our archive line for Fall of 19.
All right, let me talk about... we have the 1999 figures that are kind of our bread and butter, as it were, and we all, as you know, we kind of bring out the different price points. We've got emphasis on a swoop bike, and we have the Dewback Patrol. We've done Luke, and we've done Luke Speeder. We've done Ray Speeder. So this idea of kind of trying new things out and doing different sizes and different price points is always good. We've done a $40 price point previously, sort of in 2013-14. So we've had really good success with seeing good response to Moloch and Gamorrean Guard as exclusives and sort of the larger figures, and we know there are some figures that we want to get to that we just simply can't fit into the $19.99 price point, whether it be by box or even by price, because it's either got a lot of soft goods or it's a larger, more complex amount of plastic. So we've decided to kind of launch on mainline a new SKU of Black Series, which is a $29.99 price point. So we can actually get to do those larger figures, and I would like to reveal our first larger deluxe figure here. This figure we've been asked to do probably even before we started the Black Series. It's singularly probably the number one most requested figure that we've been asked to do, and as we're in the prequel era, I'd like to reveal to you our General Grievous. So Grievous will come with incredible soft goods. The designers of Grievous decided to do two colours on the soft goods, which is great for us because we now have to do we have to trap two different types of material. It'll come with pockets that can take all his lightsabers. He comes with the 4 lightsabers, and the blades come off so he can store all the hilts into his pockets. Has over 30 points of articulation. The cool thing about this is arms actually snap back together, so you can have a 2-arm mode, or you can split them apart and go for a 4-arm mode as well. So he's the first one and ushers in a new era of larger, more sort of complex figures that we'd like to bring to everybody. So hopefully we can finally say, oh, we're doing Grievous, everybody. Yeah. So that's good. So I'm really happy with him.
And Steve mentioned just kind of like tying the past to the future. This is actually our most requested figure. We did a survey, I don't know if you guys saw it, 2 years ago. We sent it out to our Hasbro Toy Shop purchasers, and I think it got posted on one of the fan sites. He was in there, most requested figure, and so yeah, we just stopped banging our heads against the wall and brought him up.
Actually did it. And he's gonna, he's the first of a few prequel things that we're going to announce between now and the end of the year. So more on that as and when that happens. So we got a little exclusive to show you here as well. So this will be a Walgreen exclusive in the fall, if I'm correct, 19. We're kind of like charmed by the sort of the prequel love, the resurgence of like the prequel trilogy, and it's got over this sort of like, oh, it was rubbish, and now it's just sort of hit this kind of wall of love for the prequels and nostalgia. And as we see, kids that were of an age that went in there and now kind of got jobs and got disposable income. So we were inspired by looking at the prequel era. We're also inspired by the news that the Clone Wars is coming back. And we looked at the Clone Wars, and we even looked back at the Tartakovsky, said it right, Tartakovsky Clone Wars. So we did this kind of fun exclusive, which is, as I say, coming out in Walgreens in the fall 19. So to go along with General Grievous. We've got our Obi-Wan Kenobi in his Tartakovsky. I'm going to say it all the time now.
Is it Tartakovsky?
Tartakovsky. I just looked it up online.
All right.
In his Clone Trooper gear. So it's an Episode 3 sculpt. We have the photoreal, of course, and just a really nice, classic, simple design that we really like. So you can kind of pair those two off.
Is that a new head sculpt, or is it real paint of the?
I believe it's a real paint of the existing one.
Oh, cool.
It looks like the existing one.
Yeah. So, Ewan McGregor and Tartakovsky.
Are there two R's? I thought it was Tartakovsky.
Well,
Tartakovsky.
I'm British.
Okay.
That's
Tata.
convenient.
There is no R. There is no R.
Tartakovsky?
Yeah, we don't have that in our cover. It's fine.
Tartakovsky. I'm going to say
Or you could
tartar.
Tardy?
I'm going to think of tartar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to think of tartar sauce.
Sauce, yeah.
Tartakovsky. Arnie.
Moving on.
All right, well, you're still with me, right? So
Yeah.
that's 6 inch. So let's go down in size and up in scale. Just kind of want to give you an update on the barge. You all heard of the barge, right? Yeah. So this is our EP. This is our first engineering prototype that has come from our vendors. And what happens? They make a few of them and they send them over, and we look at them and we see what doesn't fit and what's wrong and things that are brittle or don't quite work. And it's not meant to be perfect. That said, apart from we've got to sort out these. Got to tighten these sails a bit, and there's a few things going on. It hasn't got the texture molding yet. It hasn't got the wood grain molding and the sort of steel plate molding. But I was really impressed by the first EP we saw this. I was like, wow, this fits together really well. It's coming together beautifully. So we thought we'd just bring along, kind of update you. As we know, we're kind of showing videos every month or so of kind of our process. So the barge warrants the sort of just sharing how we're doing. So that's how it is at the moment. You can see some figures on there. What do we got? We announced Leia Bush at
Mexico.
Thank you. So first time you're seeing that model here she'll come with photoreal. We got our, we got prototypes. Ooh, excuse me. We got prototypes of our new trooper. We got our Death Star gunner. We got our Lando. We got Klaatu sitting up on there as well. And who knows? Maybe Afra and this nest didn't make it aboard that. So. Really, really cool. Just kind of want to share it with you. You can take photos, etc., whatever you need. But one thing I am noticing, or we're all noticing, is that everybody's getting ready for the barge. Everyone's going out and getting their figures and their skiffs and all this kind of stuff. I liken it to setting up a nursery for a baby. They're sort of getting already and laying out the table and saying, I can't wait to spring. It's coming in spring. It's coming in spring. So we wanted to make sure that we kind of released a few of the figures that would kind of help to kind of populate that. So we're going to re-release as a shared exclusive, re-release our Gamorrean Guard. And as we've said before, we're going to keep the card back at VC21, so it will keep its same number. I'm not going to put a new number on it. So we'll release that so people can kind of start getting new figures. And we've got more plans in the work, which we'll talk about at a later date in terms of other figures that can kind of help flesh out the barge. But we are very pleased with the reception and encouraged and inspired by what you and your followers and readers and listeners and what have you are doing in readiness for their brand new baby in spring.
Absolutely. And one last note on the barge. I don't think you mentioned this, but in our panel on Sunday.
No, I didn't mention that. You mentioned that.
Panel on Sunday. So we've got a couple touch points coming up after this. So we have a panel on Sunday, 1:15 p.m. at the Javits. We will be sneak peeking our next barge update. So if you're curious how barge progress is going, book a flight to New York and meet us at the Javits at 1:15 on Sunday. So that's that. Also, so in these lovely cake boxes right here, so obviously we've talked about how we do a big dog and pony show, do this when we reveal new products. And then the packaging basically just kind of ends up on the shelf somewhere, usually in Asia, because they're closest to where we produce it. Someone snaps a picture, and that's how that's revealed. And we realize that's kind of a miss, especially with the vintage collection, where the packaging is as important as the product. So we decided we're going to be a little more intentional about that. It's kind of what we owe to you guys. So we're revealing our first wave of 2019 vintage packaging. So these are figures that you've already seen. In fact, you're literally seeing them right here. It's Klaatu, Salt Murray.
I think so.
All right, let's go with that.
Tartakovsky wrong. I'm probably going to get that wrong as well.
Leia Bush and the Scarif Stormtrooper over there. So we've got our packaging here for the first time. We'll reveal it. Steve will share some details.
Yeah.
And
the stories behind all of it.
Exactly. So So the reveal is actually, there's 2 reveals in here. It's very exciting. So our
like a-
first one is our Klaatu packaging for spring 19 right there.
There he is. Note the bubble is not extra large. We're now in small, medium, large bubbles. The story behind this one, unsurprisingly, when this was made in the 80s, they just had a photograph lying around. It might have been a 10 by 8, or perhaps, if you were lucky, a slide of transparency. So we had to go back and find all these. And when we got the Klaatu one, we realised it's incredibly cropped. It's basically cropped here. And so all this, on the original card, when you look at it properly, you think, that's really bad. The way that they flood the blue, and it just looks really rubbish. So when we came to design this one, it was like, hey, should we, like, I can CG the background and the railings and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, no, it has to be the same. Make it bad. Make the image bad. Keep it truthful. So it's fun actually going back and taking a close look at those cards, whereas last time I really looked at them, I was probably a kid, and I just went, he's cool. So great story on Klaatu. And the one thing I'm really pleased with this one is the way that the wash has come out. Sometimes when we show prototypes, I know a lot of people kind of go, it's a prototype, it's never going to look like that. Klaatu is probably one of the nearest ones to the prototype in terms of washing and all the detail on the face that we got. I'm really pleased how he came out. He's a great fig. Yeah, I love him.
Absolutely. All right, so that's a classic figure from the 80s. We've got a member of our inaugural class of 2019 who's a new character, Scarif Stormtrooper. So we talked about him at San Diego Comic-Con. We revealed the figure, but the packaging for the very first time with this new, it's not a movie still.
It is not a movie still. So here's the other thing.
She's got this down at this point.
Yeah, we got it right down. So when they were doing Klaatu, it was like, quick, get a picture, what can we get? And it's like, yeah, here's a picture. We just took it of actually Billy D. Williams' son, Corey. Here's a picture, have at it. Whereas now it's obviously a lot more secretive. So as we're developing toys in the same time that Disney and Lucasfilm are developing the film, it's a lot more difficult to get film stills. It's pretty tough. So a bit like what they used to do in the old days, where they kind of had to add things and extend things and kind of comp things. Like I never saw Ben Kenobi holding a yellow lightsaber as a film still. We have to use like set photography with a bit of studio photography and mix and match here and there and everywhere. So it's almost like a game. Every time we kind of do a pack of a new film, it's a bit of an adventure, which is great story.
Absolutely. Alrighty, our next box with our 2 reveals. So to join us on the barge, Leia Bouche, obviously, as we announced. Did we say photoreal deco on
I
Leia?
did say photoreal
deco. Yeah, photoreal deco. So again, you're seeing that for the first time. And in her packaging, right like that.
There we are. And as you notice, it is very important to have the separate helmet bubble. There was like, hey, should we put it in a single blister? The single blister looks so much neater. And it's like, no. Everything that has a separate helmet bubble. I remember as a kid seeing that and thinking that was amazing. I don't know why, but I did. It was like,
little
wow,
details, yeah.
It's like an extra bubble. So she will be remaining. Anything that's old Kenner that has a separate bubble for a helmet, when we do it, we'll have a separate bubble.
Yeah, the heritage. Great. And then the last one, Yak Face in his packaging.
Indeed. And this one's probably got the most interesting story. If you thought Klaatu was difficult to get hold of, the Yak Face image was particular, and one of the eagle-eyed fans out there spotted when we released this as part of the Barge campaign. That's not the right picture. That's a different Yak Face picture. He's like this when it should be like that. So, and we knew that. The issue was we couldn't find the original. Didn't exist. Lucasfilm couldn't find it. We couldn't find it. I could have scanned a card, but you get a moire effect going on. So it's like we looked high and low, and it was getting quite tense. It's like, I've got to have that picture. So in the end, we couldn't find it. And so what we had to do, we had to take the picture like that and just digitally paint in the hand down, because I wasn't going to accept just a hand up. It had to be that. And that combined with the aspect space kind of fudge it around a bit. Yeah. But that's Star Wars packaging. That's how it works. Everyone has a story, and I don't mind that. I think it's kind of part of the charm.
So, the art and the science.
So there we are.
There we go. Alrighty.
All right. And yeah, just very quickly, just to remind everyone, Waves 2 and Wave 3, by the looks of it, are hitting stores, which is great. We have the Phasma, which was revealed at the Canadian Fan Expo. Yep. That's his packaging there. And Afra, really pleased with how she's coming out. You know, we had the San Diego special action figure set. Will never be punched, but need to be punched when it hits retail because they don't like confetti on the floor. Just kind of epitomizes what we're trying to do with exclusives. We'll try and, especially convention exclusives, we'll try and get something new and fresh, but then we'll try and take the heart of it out and allow it to be available in mainline. Similar with the Han Bespin, you know, we'll come up with the Minot, but then he'll be available. So that's the sort of theory we're trying to get. We're trying to answer to two masters in terms of I want something exclusive, but then I also want it if I can't get there. So it's a difficult juggle, but we do our very best.
Absolutely. And the tank there, just another plug. So on that live stream tomorrow 5 p.m. on sci-fi.com, I think one of the cool things about the barge is just seeing the excitement and enthusiasm for the behind the scenes, kind of seeing how the sausage is made. So we're wanting to bring more of that out. So we'll be diving in for about 10 minutes into the tank. We're going to bring a little show and tell, 5 different models from throughout the process. I think Steve's going to
rip it apart.
We're going to hopefully Mark Boudreau at home is okay with us doing that.
I want you to see all the detail that goes into it.
Yeah.
Mark puts so much effort. The guy's mental. The guy puts so much effort into the things you can't see.
Amazing, yeah.
So I want to kind of rip it apart and show everyone that.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So we'll be seeing that, and then later this fall we've got some digital assets coming out that'll do kind of that behind the scenes for some other items. So kind of pulling behind the curtain. So that's our fan line, our Black Series, our vintage line. So that's the stuff for our passionate adult and kid, fans. But we also have kid products as well. So starting with Roleplay here, we just want to review these. Oh my gosh. I don't know where those nuts keep coming from. So these are out in market right now. Roleplay lightsabers, masks. Those are kind of the kid's first handshake with Star Wars. I know as a kid that was my first Star Wars toy. I think when I was a kid it was that paper towel lightsaber. Yeah, exactly. So things have come a ways since then. So we have for this fall our spring open auto extension lightsabers. So basically the idea here is, again, those flick to extend lightsabers are cool, but I don't know about you, I've always wanted to just hold that lightsaber out, ignite it and see it spring up, and that is exactly what happens with these. So we were talking about this in the last session. Honestly, I like the fan stuff. I'm an adult, but this is kind of cool. I was saying we got to figure out a way to do this in Force Effects.
Yeah,
I don't know, polycarb this. So
Yeah.
We'll see if that works. 10 years from now, 100 years from now.
I'll do it in 2.
Exactly. So spring open Kylo Ren lightsaber, and then the Jedi version as well. Oops. Oh, it wasn't fully retracted. There we go. So you gotta. There we go.
I just hear the Christmas Story looking at that. You poke your eye out with that thing.
That's hilarious. So yeah, focus on me opening the Kylo one. That one worked out a little better. And then masks as well. So obviously, 3 years ago we had that Chewbacca mask. Chewbacca Mom kind of went viral. So we were like, well, how can we recapture that magic? Yoda obviously, does the same thing. I wish this was out of that packaging so I could kind of demonstrate it.
I hate this bit. It's Yoda.
Oh,
Dad,
thank
everybody.
goodness.
It's Yoda,
We came to
Dad.
the right hotel
I'm
room.
glad you brought your video cameras.
Now Steve really has to play this up. We need this to go viral.
Steve's going viral with this one.
Oh, very nice.
One more.
Oh, very nice.
There we go.
All right.
Calculations.
So, please, if you post nothing else, post that. We want Steve to be the next Chewbacca Mom.
I've got my red. I feel like Christmas.
Yoda Dad, exactly. Red and green. All right, so that's our role play items. Steve's going to talk to us about resistance. He wanted to resist.
I'm not playing
that bit.
anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not playing anymore. All right. Yeah. So Resistance. Yeah. New animation show launching end of this. Fall this year. Sunday. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're here. So a new line that's coming out in the spring 19, announced on CNET this morning on cnet.com. Just kind of take you through. So we have Kaz, our main protagonist here. We have Kaz, we have Major Von Reg, we have our regular Stormtrooper, we have a wicked new Commander Pyre, new gold trooper who doesn't love a bit of gold. We have Tora Doza here. We have Sonara here, who's really, really cool. And then we have a couple of 2-packs. We have Poe and BB-8 at the back there, and then we have Jaeger and Bucket, which is this incredible new droid, which was a nightmare when we saw the reference. We were like, how the hell are we making that into a 3 3/4 inch figure with all the negative undercuts and all that kind of stuff? So 2-packs and single packs. A lot of them come with helmets. As I've said before, I will never do banana helmets again. So they're removable helmets with little clear visors, except where we get to Tora. And now Tora's got buns, and as we know, buns are sacred in Star Wars, so we will not affect those. So the helmet doesn't actually fit over the top, so we've actually got a little pop-off head and helmet. So she's got a face inside there as well, so kids can just pop off and pop on. So there we are, nice, bright, fun Really looking forward to checking it out on Sunday. Thank you, James. And there you go. So there's our Resistance.
Yeah.
So
With
good fun.
Force Link?
Not with Force Link, no.
So
Not with
is Force Link done, or?
How are we answering Force Link? This one will not come with Force Link.
Are these? Is it going to be its own dedicated Resistance line, or is it going to be working
Yeah,
like a saga sort of thing?
it's its own packaging. We
Okay.
haven't got any of that to reveal, but yeah, it'll have its own packaging.
What about Forces of Destiny? Are you continuing that line?
Force of Destiny, yeah, we're continuing that. I don't know the exact details in terms of what we're doing, but I think there's Padme and I want to say Ahsoka, Elisa. Force of Destiny, what do we just reveal or release?
Ahsoka, I think you're right.
Yeah, it is Ahsoka and Padme
Yeah.
out there. Yeah, and we the
Chewbacca.
The Chewbacca and the Porgs was
Yeah.
was that our number one? That was our number one San Diego. Yeah.
Sold out.
Yeah, sold out.
Quickest,
Yeah, sold out. So yeah, so Force of Destiny, more to come on that. All right, I'm going to take you over here from Microforce. If you think we could get any colourful and cuter, then we can. Microforce. So Microforce is our kind of small and squidgy kind of collectible line that sort of has a sort of a irreverent look at the Star Wars universe, has a lot of fun. And as the year is kind of slipping by us, and it'll soon be holiday time, bringing out the Advent calendar. I think it's actually out in stores now. I've seen some Instagram posts of that. So you kind of get the typical kind of Advent calendar with a play and display area. Get stickers in there as well. You get little kind of chase color characters, and also more importantly, you get a little pork with a little Santa hat on. So you kind of get all these little kind of Christmassy themed, holiday themed characters in there. So lovely and fun. What more could you ask for in the morning when you get up to have a new Microforce? So that's Microforce. And then lastly, just want to remind everybody that that's my water. That our co-pilot Chewbacca, Ultimate Pilot Chewie. Thank you. Co-pilot Chewie. That's it. Yeah. Is out, and as we know, let's wake him up. There we are. So he has over 100 phrases, and they are phrases because every roar is an actual word. I could translate, but that would just be boring. And he has an accelerometer inside, so I can fly him around. I can also kind of eventually sort of settle him down. He'll close his eyes, and if we stay very quiet, won't make a sound. We'll eventually go to sleep. Are you going to sleep? Do I have to rock you? No. Okay. How about I just? How about that? Oh, the battery's gone.
There you go.
There we go. So, I may have turned him off when I rocked him. So, co-pilot Chewie, don't forget him in stores. Perfect present in front of the tree for kids of all ages. That sounded very spiely, didn't it? There, thank you, Chewie. I think that's all we got, right?
Yeah,
That's it.
That's the line.
Okay.
So yeah, just last plug. So we'll be continuing the fun all weekend. So again, live stream on sci-fi.com tomorrow. We'll talk about archived. The tank will have more reveals there, so more items there. And then Sunday, our panel, again, barge update and loads of reveals there as well. So hope to see you there.
More reveals.
More reveals
Oh, yeah,
at
yeah,
both
yeah.
of those, yes.
So usually, we've actually got quite a lot of events. We've got obviously the desk sites here, and we've got the live stream, and then we've got a panel, which we haven't had for a little while from New York, so there'll be more.
Yeah, so we portion them all
Yeah.
out.
We are spread thin like butter.
But delicious butter.
Delicious butter. I can't believe No, it's not advertised. That's fine.
Any questions? Or feel free to
Yeah, you can take
photos.
photographs if you need to get stuff out or move things around. Up to you.
Is there a barge?
prototype paint?
That is a prototype. I think that is.
Is there a barge update for Europe?
Oh yeah.
So same messaging. We are absolutely going to make it happen. We are working through the details, so we don't have any new details to announce. But reiterating that, I'm promising it's going to happen. So we're all committed internally. Like we know, again, like we were saying, there's fans around the world that want to get in on this. We are going to work to make a limited amount available to our fans outside the U.S. and Canada. So as soon as we have it locked and loaded, we will absolutely announce the details.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Are there any other differences besides the fees?
So you guys have about 10 minutes.
Every day.
I know. I wish we had the
I know,
specifics,
but no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. As long as they know it's coming,
Yep.
then I think the future will be alright.
Yeah.
Don't record this. Thank you.
What's that?
Is Grievous also? So far,
Yeah. So we're figuring out the amount. Again, it's stuff is happening behind the scenes. We just can't announce it
Of
until
course. So we'll take Yeah, so
and then
we often use exclusives as sort of like test beds.
For sure,
Kind of
yeah.
like, oh, let's see how it goes. And it came apparent quite quickly that there was an appetite for the larger figures, that they're popular at that price.
Oh, for sure.
People weren't like, I'm not going to pay extra $10 for it because we physically can't get it in
Uh-huh.
for $20. So
Both of
it'll be available everywhere.
Both of the ones so far, I mean, like, you know, I mean, they're relatively price. Like, you know, the Memorial is fantastic. I just found them all out here about a week ago, and
London.
Yes,
So
actually
we
helps.
also that came about last year. We were in London.
With the Londo, is it possible to see his face?
That was actually
The,
a coincidence.
skip-
Yes,
Out there
just
for
be warned, there's a little bit of glue on the top of his head because you're right.
No,
you can. You can.
Basically talking about these exact same issues. So
I don't know, Wayne got you at San Diego.
Wayne did give me a San
You go
Diego.
down where you want.
I think he followed up then with our UK team, and they had a good conversation.
Did they? Okay.
He sent a message saying that he was happy with our replies. I know it must seem frustrating, like, you know, why can't we just solve out these things? But
face
it's
from the
kind of a complex
Empire Strikes Back version?
But we're absolutely on the same page of, like, there's no reason we don't
very
want.
good question.
No,
I would imagine
we're
so.
all
I think
on
his
the same
hair is
page.
You're actually losing.
Yeah, they would have had to change the hair probably for the
Exactly.
hair.
You know,
Yeah, it probably is different. There's no reason why we would use
you
that tool again just for hair.
With like the absence of Toys R Us, you guys are still going strong with a lot of stuff. With Target, Walgreens, you're getting a lot more exclusives. That's a good thing. Like everything's selling well there. I know Veers just hit.
The interesting thing about exclusives is that we aren't actually doing any more exclusives than we have done year on year. I think what we are doing is we're announcing more exclusives at these type of events. So there's rather than sort of just coming and appearing, we're sort of announcing them a little bit more.
Okay.
So I think there's an appearance of more exclusives, but there isn't because we keep exclusives pretty flat across each year. But they're doing well. You know, the Gamorrean Guard is doing well. I'm seeing that. I saw that in my store. And I know some people can't find things. You know, people pounce on things and they go.
Yeah, then they go, then the
Yeah,
reshipments.
that's just the thing. I mean, exclusives allow us to kind of expand the line, and also, you know, retailers are really important to us when they get behind stuff. So it's
I know there were some issues with the distribution a while back. That seems to be fixed. It
yeah,
seems to be-
distribution is kind of out of my
Once-
scope.
once it goes-
out of my scope. I certainly got enough time having to try and design these things, but maybe Patrick can help with some distribution questions. But, yeah, distribution is always, you know, just generally it's tricky. And you can never get everything perfect, and exclusives are that. They're exclusive.
Yeah.
So we try and make sure that, you know, especially
I mean, sometimes
retailers in one country, you know, that have exclusivity. But you know, most things if are available outside of different countries, just depends whether retailers want to come in on the game.
And with like I know the Leia and Han 2-pack, the Hoth set.
Yeah.
That's going to be an overseas exclusive, but availability in the U.S. Or
Not
Hasbro
confirmed.
Toys.
There are, I think the wording says, you know, there's possibilities of limited supplies in different areas on different online potentials. Nothing's been announced yet as to where that is.
Okay.
But we are conscious that not everyone can get to a place to get exclusives. So I was really happy just to kind of have an exclusive outside of America.
That's a UK exclusive,
yeah,
right?
yeah, sort of.
So I'm gonna hit you up and ask you to order one.
There you
and
go.
send it.
So it's like, again, you can never win. Do it down if you do, down if you don't. It's like, so it's a tricky thing.
But though obviously the line's going strong and everything's
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Oh yeah, Black Series just keeps going and going and going. It's great, and I'm not running out of characters yet, so that's good.
Thank you.
Cool.